Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Heather. I'm so happy to have you here. I've got a fun video to share with you today, fun conversation. This is something that I have been working on or with for a while, and I really want to share it with you guys because I have learned so much, almost too much to be honest. I've had so much information flowing in lately that is expanding my knowledge and awareness of our multidimensionality and how it works as we move towards the fifth dimensional timelines, the new earth timelines, as we like to call them. I think it's important that we start to learn more about how our reality truly works, how our physical bodies, our mental, emotional, all of our etheric layers work. This is something that I've been drawn into for a while. And I want to share what's been coming through with you guys so we can all learn together. But before I get into this video, I would love if you're new, if you'd subscribe. I'm going to be bringing forward quite a bit of information like this, sharing what's been coming through from my team as I connect with them and helping us all to learn, to grow, to expand, and to prepare for new earth in whatever way that looks for each and every one of us. Give this video a like, and I would love to hear from you if this information resonated, if it sparked something within you, if it gave you any aha moments, because the aha moments have been popping off for me. So let's dive into today's conversation, which is all about understanding the field of consciousness, your field of consciousness. So I'm a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner. I've done this work over the last 6 years, and I love every session that I've ever done because I have learned so, so much. And I have experienced such a variety of healings, clearings, connections. These sessions are so powerful and so expansive, and everyone is really unique. Every session is so different. It is all based on what the client needs most. Some of them are more healing sessions. Sometimes you come in for a session and you think you're going to have this big, expansive journey and go to all of these lifetimes, and you end up spending the majority of your session healing, clearing, releasing. Um, it's just what you needed most. And some people walk in and their higher self drops in almost instantly and just takes off with the session and brings forward information and guidance and whatever it is that needs to come through that client. So all sessions are unique and individual. And I've spent a lot of time working with the clearing sessions, and I was trained through Soul Center Healing Hypnosis, the lovely Laura Whitworth, who teaches through her modality to do entity release and to really get in there and work with the clearing parts of the session, because that's so important. We can have entities, we can have attachments, we can have things that are interfering with our connection. If we don't clear them off, those entities and attachments can sometimes come in and they can steal the show. They can bring forward the higher self messages, pretending to be the higher self when they are not. So I have been very trained doing quite a bit of that work for a few years to listen for the distortion coming through from these entities and to make sure we get as much cleared off of the client as possible during the session. But I'll tell you, I'll be honest, doing that work, I felt a lot of frustration because some clients would come in and they would have so many things attached, and you could just see it with their paperwork. All of the issues that they were going through, physical, mental, emotional issues. The more that you do this work and you learn what's connected to what. You can see it when they fill out their paperwork. You can almost identify what's going on in their system. And it's not always entities and things that are conscious, but there can be a lot of that. There can also be things like trauma and trapped emotions and things that happened in other lifetimes, vows, contracts, hexes, curses. Oh my. It's there's a lot going on within our field, within our energetic field that can be attached to you. There's implants, there's control devices. Sometimes in other lifetimes, especially if it's a galactic life, you could have a darker being place some sort of tracking device on you or a control device to try to prevent you from speaking your truth or remembering who you are or awakening in this lifetime. There are things that get attached to you. There's AI, and this is the dark AI. This is the controlling AI. This is the AI that tries to manipulate and, again, prevent you from something of the light. So we learn through that type of hypnosis how to do that clearing work at the beginning of the session. And as I mentioned, sometimes you don't get past that work. You spend the majority, if not all, of the session doing the clearing because you just keep discovering layer after layer after layer of density of things that are not supposed to be in your field. So we work to clear all that off as much as possible. Unfortunately, it's not always possible to get everything off in one session. Sometimes the higher self will come in and say, we're done for today. We've had enough, because it can cause destabilization within your field if you try to clear too much at one time. So we do as much as we can, and then hopefully you will be able to come back for another session or continue the clearing work in some other way that calls to you. And there are many ways to clear, not just through hypnosis. There are many, or maybe not many, but other modalities that can help you clear your field as well. And you can also do some of this clearing work because you are sovereign and you are powerful. And one of the things that I have taught the clients that I have worked with is stand in your power. This is your field. This is your energy. And these beings, these entities feed off of it. Why? Because they can. That is what they have said many times as I have spoken to them in these sessions. Why do you do it? Because we can. Because we get away with it. Because they don't know that we're here. So when you gain that awareness that there are things potentially that can be attached to you, you learn to take back your power. And sometimes in sessions, that is how we get things off, because some of these things are stubborn. These darker energies and entities that become attached, they will argue with you. They will cuss at you. They will behave very badly. And you have to empower the client to say, no more. You are not allowed in my field. You are not allowed to be here. You are not allowed to feed off of my energy. You must stand in your power. You must take back control of your energy because it is yours. So in these cases, it is wonderful to have a trained professional that can help you connect in to your energetic field, your physical body, to do that body scan and to look for those different attachments, the trapped emotions, the trapped energies, the things that are still in your field that are causing issues, whether it's physical issues, mental, emotional. Maybe you have voices in your head and you think, this is not me. It may not be you. It may be something that is energetically attached. So we do that work to clear things off. But as I mentioned, there's so many layers, so many things that one person could be connected to. And as I mentioned, I have found so much frustration because when a client comes in to work with me, I want to just get them clean and clear and back in alignment with their true energy, their true power. Like I said, sometimes we can only do so much in one session. It is energetically draining and it is challenging to get everything off. So you have to do it over multiple sessions. But doing this work and really seeing all of these different layers and what people are going through, it has made me really want to dig even deeper into the why. Why do we have these issues? Why are we so why is there so much going on within our field? And why are we connected and dealing with issues from a completely different life that we're not even living? Do you ever think about that for those of you who understand like past life regression and the reason that we do that? And of course, there's a variety of reasons, but one of the reasons when we do past life regression in a hypnosis session is because something happened to you, and not you, but another part of your soul, a soul fractal, who is having a completely different human experience or even a galactic experience, another type of being. But something happened to you in a lifetime where you were physically incarnated, a part of your soul was physically incarnated. You had some sort of traumatic experience, somebody killed you, you were murdered, you were stabbed, something terrible happened, so you experienced a trauma, or you took some sort of vow, maybe of poverty, of celibacy, you were a nun, you renounced all levels of abundance. And in this life that you're living now, you're still experiencing poverty or struggle with finances or struggle in your love life. And so, in a session, we can go back into a lifetime and we can find out who you were and what you were doing and what was happening to you and why that issue is still existing. And so let's just say you were a nun or a priest or some size, some sort of clergy, and you took that vow of poverty or even a vow of silence. And in this life, you're having trouble with finances or trouble speaking up or whatever it is. And we go back and we find that and we're able to clear it. And what that should do is it should open that back up for you in this life. So it clears that vow. We're going back and we're sort of retracting it. We're saying, okay, no more. I'm done with that. That should not be affecting me. And so we can do this work in a variety of different ways. We can explore these different lifetimes. We can hop around. We can try to find where all of these issues are connected. It's very tedious work. It's fun. It's fun to go back and see where all of these things are. But again, in my mind, when a client comes in and they're dealing with so much, and we have to tediously go back through time and find, where did you take a vow? Where did you experience trauma? Where did you sign a contract with another being or another person that has been following you throughout time, and you're still repeating those karmic lessons because you have a contract with that person that's outdated, but it's still affecting you. Again, when you do this work, you realize the massive amounts of levels and layers to everything that we experience and how it's all very intricately connected. And sometimes I say it's not fair. It's not fair that I'm in this life, but I'm still connected to something that another part of my soul is doing or experiencing in another life. So this led me to diving deeper with my team to understand why this is, and not just to understand why it is, but how can we clear it maybe in a different way. instead of going through layers upon layers upon layers of clearing through hypnosis work and energy clearing and meditation and trying to bring things to the surface and purge and clear and release, which is just so much. It's so much on the human. It's so much on us sometimes. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like you are in a constant state of healing, clearing, releasing, letting go? I feel like that sometimes. And I see this within my clients and the people that I work with closely. They just feel exhausted by it. Like we just want to live our life and be free and experience joy and abundance. And this is like the new earth timelines that we're moving towards, right? We really want to experience freedom and peace and all of those higher vibrational emotions. Not that we totally negate the lower ones. They're all purposeful. So I'm not trying to bypass the lower emotions that we need to experience. But does it have to be so heavy? Do we have to work so hard just to get our system balanced and aligned? So this is what led me to starting to tap in and want to know why this is. And my team started bringing forward the understanding of our field of consciousness. And this is kind of like you can think of your soul, but they've said it's a little bit different. It's not quite your soul. It's a part of you, though, that you can think of it as like your field of consciousness is like your storage center for your soul. We'll say it in those terms. It stores records of all lifetimes that you are living because everything is happening now. And it stores records as data. So I'll say, think about the Akashic Records because many people understand the Akashic Records and many people learn how to tap into the Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records is like this massive field of data that exists in the quantum realm. And you access it by shifting your frequency and aligning to it. And when you access the Akashic field, the Akashic Records, you have access to all records across time. So this is, you can access things that have happened to you in this life. You can access other lifetimes. You can access records for places. If you want to access the records for your home, you can access those records. If you want to access the records for a specific state or continent or everything has a record. It's like data that is recorded and stored within one massive field. And when we go into that field, we can access that information based on what you have access to. I don't think you can access just anything and everything, but you have specific access to certain records, especially your own. Well, think of your field of consciousness kind of the same as the Akashic Records, but on a smaller level. So it's your specific experiences that are recorded into your field at the soul level. So your soul is connected to all of your incarnations, right? So there's you in this life, but there's also you, not you, but another version of you in many other lifetimes having many other experiences. And again, that can be galactic experiences. You can be other types of beings, not just galactic. There's inner earth beings, there's elemental beings, and there's even consciousness that is not physically incarnated. So it is not in physical form. It is more of a light body, but these are all experiences and all things that your soul can choose to experience. So think of that soul is connected, that field of consciousness is connected to all of those different aspects that are incarnated, having a variety of different experiences, some very positive, learning and growing and experiencing, and some very negative, trauma, taking on things that are not, not for your highest and greatest good. And all of that happens for a reason. We experience things, even the most challenging and sometimes darkest things we experience for a reason. I can promise you that you have had lifetimes where you have done very dark things because as a soul, you want to experience the light and the dark because that provides you with contrast. That helps you to understand. Well, you learn from the darkness. If we didn't have darkness, we would not learn. We would just exist. So you do choose in some lifetimes to play darker roles. We do choose sometimes to play the bad guy, but we also choose to be the light. And sometimes playing the bad guy allows us to learn from that and grow and choose differently. And it's all about choice, right? Free will. That is what we are expressing in this life, our free will. You have free will to be kind and loving, or you have free will to be nasty and violent, if that's your choice. And the higher guides would say there's purpose in all of it, even when we can't fully understand from our human level. But let's just say all of these experiences that you're having in all of these different lifetimes are creating records or data, and that data gets filtered into that field of consciousness. All the lessons that you've learned, all the experiences that you've had, everything gets stored, but also all of the things that have gone wrong. And so that field of consciousness is not just bringing data into it. It's not just a receiver. It is also a broadcaster. So it is sharing things that you've learned out into the field and out into each incarnation. And so I've asked my team, help me to understand why I'm in this life and I'm experiencing something that is happening in another life. And what they have shared is because when data is collected from another life or something goes wrong, let's just say, or it's probably not wrong, but something happens that gets stored into the field, your field broadcasts a signal out to all aspects of yourself. And the ones that are in alignment, energetic alignment, receive that field signal, let's say, and respond to it by having, you'll have something sort of manifest that works off of that signal. So you'll start experiencing. So it's like if you had something that went wrong in another life that created a lot of fear, and in this lifetime you have these irrational fears that are happening and you know they're not from this life, you're experiencing a signal that is broadcasting from your field. It is activating within this lifetime, and you are experiencing it as if it's yours. So, what you're experiencing in this lifetime has nothing to do with what your soul experienced in another lifetime. The events is not the problem, the stored information is. It's like when something happens in any lifetime, be it this life, another life, an ancestral time, a parallel life, the experience creates what is known as encoded information. It encodes that information from that event into your field. And that information can include things like emotion, belief, survival response, identity shift, and psychological signaling. And once it's encoded, then it lives in the energetic field as data. So when you are receiving a signal from your field of consciousness, that soul field, your nervous system is not responding to the actual event or experience that happened in another lifetime. It's responding to the data signal. And so as I'm looking at this, as my team is bringing forward this information, and I'm comparing it to like the way in which we do clearing through hypnosis, we clear through hypnosis by finding where the story is, where the experience lies, and then working through that, where that resides. But I have started to understand that there is another way that we can clear this data, and that is by tapping into the field of consciousness, accessing that data directly, and then clearing it at the root level. It's like getting into the operating system. We're not trying to find the issue within the different software installations that you have. Let's think in computer terms here. My team likes to talk to me in computer terms because I understand it really well. But we're not trying to find where the issue is within the applications and the programs running on your computer system. We are getting right into the operating system, and we're finding where that signal is, where that data is, and we're saying we don't need that anymore. So my team has been working with me on learning how to use field clearing statements, field clearing commands, you could call them. And this is where we work with our teams and your higher self, Source, and Gaia, and you access the field of consciousness to begin the process of clearing. And I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that in the next video. This is going to be at least a two-part series. So I'm going to get into field commands and field instructions, like when we access that field, how to do it, what that looks like in the next video. But I want to dive a little bit deeper into just helping you understand, because I am like, as I'm trying to understand this, I'm still baffled at how everything is so connected. And I wanted to understand, why is it that we're so connected to other lifetimes, where vows and contracts and traumas and all of that can affect us across lifetimes. And so my team showed me that when we incarnate, we don't reset to zero. It's like we still we bring with us fields of accumulated information, of data that comes with us, that includes things that we need to learn. It includes our skills that we have built up over time. It also includes unresolved things that we need to work through. It has our identity, who we are. It holds our contracts. It holds relational patterns, things, with our ancestral line and our family lines. All of that information, again, is sort of stored in that field, and we are connected to that. So it's not like you incarnate into this life and you just start fresh. You do start a fresh life, but you're still connected in with all that is carried in the soul field. And that interfaces with your human energetic field as you come into this reality. So, the way that they sort of showed it to me is it's like your soul field is like a networked intelligence. Different lifetimes are like different nodes in that network. Everything is connected, and they're all connected through this shared architecture. And so when you make a vow or form a contract or encode some sort of survival response from a lifetime when something happens to you, all of that information becomes part of the field's organizational pattern. And then when you incarnate again, the field still carries all of that information until it's resolved, completed, or updated. So think about that for a minute. Until it's resolved. So why do we continue to experience things from other lifetimes? Because in this lifetime, we're trying to resolve it. We're trying to clear it. We're trying to heal it. We're trying to complete it. This is why we are going through right now so much clearing and cleanup. And it feels like we're doing it not just for ourselves, but we're doing it for all, because we are. And those of us who are more awakened and aware in this lifetime that understand this cleanup work that we're doing, we're doing it at the field level. We're doing it across all lifetimes. But as I said, through things like hypnosis, the work that I've been doing for a while now, it can be very tedious. So that's why, like, vows of poverty, suffering, silence, service can still affect someone hundreds of years later. The vow is an instruction that was never revoked. So the vow was created, it was encoded into your, let's say, your core operating system, your field of consciousness, and that instruction is still broadcasting out into, well, I don't know how many lifetimes, maybe all of them, or maybe just some of them. So what I've come to understand, that if something was not resolved in the lifetime, meaning you weren't able to move through it, release it, clear it, experience it, feel it, if you stored it, if you got hung up on it, then it still is in your field, and it just continues to broadcast regardless of whether you know where it's coming from or not. You're pulling in the signal, you're pulling in the data that is stored in your field. So all relevant data that has not been completed, it just remains active. And it doesn't matter if it has anything to do with you, because it's all coming from the field. So this work that I'm learning to do is addressing the root instructions, the root data, where this is being stored, and getting into the system and revoking it, clearing it, releasing it, letting it go, stating this is no longer needed. And when you do this field level clearing in this way, it updates at the root, which updates across all timelines. So every place that data is being referenced, any lifetimes, it's updated, it's removed, and the field begins to reorganize, and the experience begins to shift. So same thing we're doing in hypnosis, but we're doing it one lifetime and one event and one experience at a time, sometimes multiple, sometimes you can get more things. But that's why the process seems so tedious. And I've always felt, as I've done this work, I'm like, there's got to be, I've said this so many times, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a faster way to do this, because this type of healing is exhausting. So there is a better way, and there is a way that we can learn how to get into the field of consciousness, into your soul field, to find where that data is being stored, the things that you agreed to in other lifetimes, or the things that you experienced that are ready to clear. And we can begin to clear that out through field clearing statements. And I'm going to cover that more in part 2 of this series. We're going to talk about how distortion is created across time and how it can affect you more in this life, and how you can work within your field for clearing. We're going to dive into that. But just to let you know, I have created my first field clearing toolkit. And I sat down and channeled this with my team to create powerful statements. And this is where you are going to work with your team of light. You're not just doing this on your own. I'm going to teach you how to get into the right coherence, the right frequency to do this work. Utilizing these statements and working within your field is not as powerful if you're not in the right vibrational alignment. So this toolkit teaches you everything that you need to know about all of these things that I'm talking about, why they're important, why they're coming forward now. We are leveling up, and we are going to begin to learn new ways of healing ourselves that have not come forward as of yet. Now, I'm not saying that there's no one doing this type of work. I'm sure there is. But I think this is going to become more of a deeper understanding for us as we continue to raise our frequency and vibration. It's almost like it is unlocking new levels and layers of understanding that have not been able to come forward until now. There has been massive shifting on this planet over the last, well, several years, but specifically as of recent, we have gone through some major energetic shifts. Lots of light has been coming in, lots of codes. They have been awakening more people, upgrading our system, integrating more of the frequencies, the higher dimensional frequencies in our system. Lots of things are happening. So when this happens and we go through these collective shifts, it unlocks new layers of understanding that may not have been as available to us before. And that's what's coming to me, these new ways of healing ourselves through these field clearing statements, and working within our divine blueprints and templates, which I'm going to talk more about that as we go and help us all to understand what all that is as it comes in through my team. But I'll leave a link below to the toolkit if you'd like to check it out. It's on a new platform that I have. It's not really new. I just have yet to really start to add things to it, but I do have a few things on there. Soul Mind Academy, and I've got a field clearing toolkit that is going to give you all sorts of command statements that you can work with your team, with Source and Gaia, clearing at the root level. And this is clearing vows, this is clearing contracts, this is doing ancestral work, this is working within your physical, mental, emotional body, your lineage. This is, I've got quite a few different sections within there. If you go to soulmindacademy.com and you take a look, you're going to see all of what is included in that toolkit, how it works, and why it's important. And it's exciting to think that we are moving into a time where hopefully healing becomes a little easier, a little faster, because aren't you ready to start enjoying life without having to work so hard to get all the junk out, to let go of all the distortion that's in your field? I sure am looking forward to that. And I will say this does not replace traditional methods of healing. It does not replace hypnosis. It does not replace energy healing and all of those beautiful things that we do. It's meant to be a companion. It's meant to assist. It's important that if you feel like you have things energetically attached or you need that deeper healing work, that you work with someone that you trust and allow them to hold space for you to support you through that process. But this is a great way to get into the field and start working to clear and release density all on your own. Because here's the thing, we are very powerful. And at a higher level, we already know how to do this. If you are here on this channel, you are a star seed. You are from a higher dimension. You have lived many lifetimes with many gifts and abilities that you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe it if you knew. I've heard so much through all of the sessions and channeled messages sessions that I've done, how powerful and how amazing that we are. So trust and know that you have the ability to heal yourself. You really do. You have the ability to get in there and get into the root of your soul essence, your soul consciousness, and start clearing things out that are no longer needed, along with the help of your higher self and your team of light. I'll leave that information in the description below. I hope you found this information helpful. I would love to hear your thoughts if any of this resonated, and definitely stay tuned for part 2. We're going to dive a little deeper into this discussion because there is so much to it, and I want to help you understand it right alongside as I am understanding it. We will learn together. All right, everyone, I am sending you so much love, and I will talk to you soon.